Mayor Snedeker, when it comes to this property, the St. Sava property here, it's been vacant for a while.
Yes.
What do you want to see there if it's not going to be this detention center?
Well, you know, it's privately owned, so for me to kind of say what I'd like to see there might be a little premature, but certainly I'd like to see some good, clean, either light industry or some type of development commercial-wise that certainly there is some taxes that are generated from that property. I understand, you know, that property's not drawn the attention of maybe a property on Route 30 would draw, but I think there certainly is through, you know, the right marketing, there might be some use for the property. Again, Geo still has an opportunity to do their efforts if they want to still pursue that property. They certainly have every right, and the city will be will treat them fairly in that process.
Do you think there's anything they could tell you at this point about this detention center that would make you supportive?
No. I feel like that I've given them the opportunity to prove to me that they would be a good neighbor, and that if the community wanted it, then I certainly would be responsive to the will of the community, and they've not shown that effort.
We had John Buscemi on yesterday, their local spokesman
Yes.
for Geo Group. He said this is like a $70, $80 million project.
Yes, it is.
Nothing to sneeze at, I would imagine.
No, and please understand me, I have nothing to say negative about Geo as a company. I just don't think that they did their good faith effort in working with our community. You know, it is. On face value, it's a very impressive, about a $70 million project, would create potential union jobs in the construction phase, would bring potentially $1 million to $2 million in additional tax to our city. So yes, you know, certainly from an economic development and from a job perspective, this is nothing to just, you know, say, you know, blanket, you know, it's no good, because there is some value in the project. But I still say that the community has to support the project for me to support the project.
You said you have nothing against Geo, though there has been you know, things in the news about other Geo facilities. They have facilities all around the country, hunger strikes going on, the questions about conditions there. That didn't enter into your thinking at all?
Well, I think that's always a concern, but you know, I had 27 years in law enforcement. And I understand anytime you have a facility that has detainment capabilities, even being an immigration you know, processing center, there are going to be issues that are going to come up. Some are proven to be you know, a confirmed instance of maybe something bad. Not every complaint is proven to be valid. So I understand there are concerns about that, and I think that is part of the vetting process that I wanted to see occur here. And it didn't, and that's where I'm at this point.
So did you really hear nothing at all from Geo during this, even though this started way back in November?
They certainly had met with me and told me that they certainly intended to have an outreach program, that they were in the process, they were going to do that, they were going to meet with entities, and I believe they started to do so, but not to the degree that I wanted to see with the continued response of the community.
Do you think some of this has it all to do with just the lack of movement on immigration reform? There just simply has not been any sort of comprehensive immigration reform. Do you think that's driving any of this?
I think in the situation with Geo, certainly that probably plays a major part, that there was not a request for a proposal out of Washington yet for them to respond to. And so, yeah, I think, Steve, that's a valid you know, comment, that they did not see necessarily the need to move on this project, but I think there's still something to be said that when you are going to purchase property in a community and you want to be accepted by that community, certainly when there is, and don't get me wrong, Geo was monitoring what was going on here. They were monitoring the media. They knew what was going on. They knew that there was a valid remonstrance to their project. And with that said, I think there was a good faith effort that Geo needed to be here, meeting with people, trying to, if they didn't agree with what was coming out of the remonstrance, they should have been here to respond to those concerns.
Anything of this have to do with the fact that it's an immigrant detention center? If this were some other minimum security prison. Do you think the city would have looked at it differently?
I believe probably the majority of the people that oppose this would probably oppose any type of detention facility at this point. Because I think there's concerns by many of the residents that anytime you have a detainment facility, you risk the chance of people escaping from that facility and certainly other issues that might come with some type of detainment type of facility. So,
All right.
yeah.
All right, Mayor Syndercourt, well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, and appreciate you having me on.
Thanks.